The Legacy of Phrecia League starts tomorrow, and I'm definitely planning on participating in this. It looks really interesting. They've changed around all 19 ascendancies to be something new, which I really like. Conceptually, if they can do this, that means they could technically mix the ascendancies from league to league to make this like really, really interesting and force meta shifts. So people are playing all sorts of different things on regular basis. They could remove ones that require more work, replace them with ones that were work. Like this has a lot of potential. I hope this same concept will be applied within both Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2 as both games continue to progress. This is a mid-league league, so this is 3.25.5. It is based on settlers, and it will go for a month plus a couple days starting tomorrow. This will give me a nice break from Path of Exile 2 and gives them time to work on the next league for Path of Exile 1 and continuing towards completion of Path of Exile 2. Scrolling down to the bottom here, there are a couple things. They have this idle system in place, which should hopefully increase your end game, making mapping and stuff faster since the league's shorter. Additionally, there are rewards. This nice armor set sitting here at the bottom, this Autumn Night, looks really, really cool. You get boots, gloves, body armor, and helmet at 20, 40, 60, and 80, and Twitch drops get you the cape. So I definitely want to pick that up. I think it looks pretty awesome, and it's available to be used in Path of Exile 2 as well, which is even cooler. Within the ascendancies, there's 5 that I found to be interesting. The first one of these is the Harbinger. I am not playing this. This requires too much time, but you get to be a blue Harbinger and fly around and use Harbinger skills. I think that's really cool. I just think this would take a lot of time to configure. In March, I'm starting a master's class. I just do not have time to mess with that. It's too much. I want to play something that is straightforward, easy, and simple to figure out. So the next thing that I thought was really interesting was the Aristocrat. This is a stat stacking build. I've actually never played a stat stacking build in all of Path of Exile 1. I've just never got around to doing it. It had always been on my list of things to do. Unfortunately, once again, with that class starting at the beginning of March, I will not have time to work with this. It requires a ton of time to make these work, and I don't have that time right now. This has some amazing points to it, though. Dreadful Attitude. If you could possibly get it so that your strength, dex, and int are all the same number numerically, and they're all stacked up relatively high with like an Astrodamus, you get 5% increased damage per 5 of your lowest attribute. Yeah, that's nuts. If you get 1,000 of each of those, that is literally going to be per 5 point. That's nuts. Like you could do so much damage if you get that just from that one node. Plus, it grants extra passive skills to make your. This is a crazy ascendancy. Love to mess around with that if I had more time. If I was playing that, I'd probably be playing Dex or Strength stacking totems, but not necessarily. There's probably tons of options with that. Sounds interesting. Of the other 3 builds, the next one I thought this is the one I originally thought I was going to play, which was Under the Ranger, and that is the Whisperer. This has so much potential to it. This is based on mana stacking, and there are so many cool things you could do with this. Arcane Cloak, Mana Bond should all work phenomenally within this, but this has a couple additional things. 50% increased mana cost. Attack skills have added lightning damage equal to 4% of their mana. You could do something with Energy Blade. You could do something with Lightning Strike, Galvanic Arrow, Lightning Arrow. And then on top of it, you have projected. This makes your links, if you're using a range skill, this basically gives you a 7 link. Increase in reductions of spell damage also apply to attacks at 150% of your value. This is a very interesting node. And with this, that means you could take spell nodes and you could then technically weapon swap if you put your spell in your weapon and have like staff. And there's so many crazy options for this. Unfortunately, I think this is going to require a lot of time to configure. I'd love to have a summer to work with this where I have like 3 months where I could really experiment with what's happening with this. It looks really fun to play with. There are 2 more builds here. The next one is the Puppeteer. In the video, it showed as a melee build. I wouldn't play this. I'd play this as a zombie build. This would probably be the easiest to play, most straightforward. I just question how far I could push this. I'm sure it is easy enough to push to level 80. I don't think that would be an issue. Because of that, I might play this build, but I'm not 100% sure. The one that I feel as though I most likely am going to play is going to be from the shadow, and that is going to be the Surfcaster. I think this has a lot of potential. There are 4 nodes on here that I find to be absolutely phenomenal. I'm not even talking about the ones with fishing nodes, but Stormy Seas, 100% of lightning damage converted to cold. All of a sudden, you have the ability to do something that is like a shocking freezing based build. So, spark. So your spark is now a frozen spark, and it still shocks. Absolutely crazy. Same thing with arc. So this is really interesting, but it's not limited to that. It says damage. So this could be both a physical attack. It could be like an attack skill or a spell skill, which is pretty crazy. This gives a lot of options. Basically, you're going to pick a lightning skill and then you're converted to cold if you're choosing this, which is, if I'm playing this, which I most likely am, I'm definitely going to have this. Changing season. No, that's not it. I'm sorry. It's the one coming off here. It is Glacial Wave. Enemies chilled by your hits take. So like if you chill with 30%, they do 15% less damage and they take 30% increased damage. This is absolutely great. You have 2 other things here that's really interesting. You have both Sea Legs and Ghost of the Deep. Ghost of the Deep, 20% increased damage, 30% movement speed, and 30 a cast attack speed. Works with both attack-based skills and movement skills. This is absolutely phenomenal. Then you have Sea Legs, 30% increase cold and lightning, critical strike chance increases by overcapped lightning, evasion increases by overcapped cold. This comes from the Shadow Tree, which means it's sitting off to the right, and you have access to evasion energy shield, which is absolutely amazing for this. I think this is probably what I'm most likely going to play. I think this will probably be pretty easy to configure, and you have an option just like you do with the Whisper to go either to go either ranged or to go with melee, depending on what you want to do, because all 3 of these apply to both, which is absolutely crazy. This looks really fun to mess with. I think this is what I'm going to go with. I'm curious what anyone else is planning to go with and what their ideas are behind these. Feel free to comment and let me know. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.